Today, particularly as more facts emerge about what really happened in Washington, D.C. on January 6, 2021, we all know that the First Amendment is under attack. The whole thing. Since January 6, our rights of speech, press, assembly, and petition have been conclusively trampled. It's undeniable by any but the most zealous partisans. But like the rest of the Constitution, the First Amendment has actually been under attack since it was written, not just by the politicians we've been continuously reelecting, but by we the people for our own reasons. We really do tend to shut out what we don't want to hear, don't we? It's natural, but to have anything better than natural, or humanity's default authoritarian violence and oppression, the freedom to hold and practice beliefs as we choose, to speak and hear alternative views, to gather in civil assemblies, and to complain to government when things go awry are, like property and self-defense rights, absolutely critical to maintaining functional, peaceful, and prosperous republics. But both our tribal opposition and support of the First Amendment in particular has been actually both rallying cry and weapon for generations. Those who want theocracy or showy religiosity in government, and those who want to forbid religion in any public places are both opposing the First Amendment, for example. The only thing they get right is that their opponents are wrong. Hi, I'm Andy Horning, author of Relighting the Torch, and today I'll be discussing the This amendment could well have been titled, How We Humans Can Understand Each Other and Get Along as Grown-Ups. So let's get to the actual words. Like all other amendments that comprise the Bill of Rights, it's just one single sentence. The First Amendment sentence says, quote, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people, peaceably to assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Congress shall make no law respecting is the operative phrase. Congress is specifically forbidden any authority to write laws about any of the freedoms listed in this amendment. Congress is supposed to be, this will be another video later, the only federal lawmaking body. So there can be no federal laws respecting these 6 enumerated freedoms. Without laws, there is nothing for the executive branch to execute and no law for the federal judicial branch to adjudicate. This is, in other words, a total gag order upon any federal authority in matters of religious institutions, religious practices, speech, press, peaceful assembly, and petitions to the government. There are, of course, today, thousands upon thousands of so-called federal laws, prohibitions, restrictions, and provisos to each of these freedoms. More and more come at us like machine gun bullets all the time. It's now been quite a while since the freedom of religion morphed into freedom from religion, completely the opposite of what was intended and plainly written as law, and ironically exactly the opposite of the interpretation the media used to give to, freedoms 3 and 4 in this amendment, which are separated by only the word or. I say used to because today, of course, freedom from speech really is a thing. Whether we call it hate speech or misdis or malinformation, there's a lot of speech that's now actually punishable by decades in prison or maybe even death if the government deems the speech problematic enough. Poor Julian Assange. But as our President Biden would say, anyway, today our government can treat reporters like Ten Commandment displays or Christmas trees with a veil of separation between the government and the press. Just as, for the rest of us, there must now be a veil of separation between our minds and our mouths. Our government's puppet masters have long ago taken direct control of media, and not just with the CIA's Operation Mockingbird and other programs that both have been ever since and before that. By combinations of both carrot and stick, they tell Google, Facebook, and once told the old Twitter to ban and demonetize entire accounts based on as little as a posted meme. Government has taken the power to decide who's media and who's not, making federal communication rules and restrictions for the media, the way politicians have done to churches, political candidates, and special interest groups that don't toe the status quo line. That's always been unconstitutional. But lately, corporate consortiums like the Orwellian Trusted News Initiative, or TNI, have gotten all the traditional media, search engines, and most popular social media to toe that line. And no matter what you think happened on January 6, 2021, and no matter what you call it, the Democratic Party response to it is quite opposite the reaction to the deadly, destructive BLM Antifa riots of 2020, and have at the very least put a chilling, partisan stranglehold on our rights of peaceful assembly and petition for redress of grievances. In summary, we've killed the First Amendment. We put a stake through its heart, burned it, and stomped on the ashes. And not just Democrats. I'm not giving Republicans anything on this. Republicans have in many times past, in varying circumstances, taken their own book-banning, silence the opposition actions. Even recently. Neither of the sock puppet parties can either claim ignorance or innocence. What we voters can claim is ignorance. That is sort of fair. The evil ones have made it so that we have to turn away from what's all around us, inundating our every sense, if we want to catch a glimpse of truth. But you know, this is an old saying. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. But fool us every election day across multiple generations? My fellow mortal humans, this is no way to be. Do we want our rights back or not? It's pretty bad right now. We still have all the power and accountability. We have to live with the results of our choices. Our founders gave us nothing so conclusive as no excuses. We have the numbers, we have the constitutions on our side, and we have the power of peaceful revolution. We've not even tried yet. Do you have any doubts or questions about that? Please ask. It's critical we know that this is still, whether we admit it or not, whether we act like it or not, our country, and we're past due to govern that corrupt monster we call our government. Anyway, thanks for listening. Liberty or bust. Have a great day.